You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello. What is up? Welcome to the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Postcast brought to you by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Win or lose, visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, Clippers fall in Minnesota to the Timberwolves, 108-106. Here's the good news. Let's start with that. Fun game. They played well at many different crucial points of this game. Here's the bad news. Kawhi Leonard sat on the bench in the fourth quarter. They're treating it like preseason, we've been told. Why was Kawhi Leonard playing in San Diego again? Wasn't that the preseason? Get him in the game. Come on, he's a grown man. Let's go. They could have won this game if Kawhi was in there. They could have won this game many different ways, all right? So I guess we take away from that some silver lining, some solace. Like, yeah, they didn't get smoked by the Timberwolves. But another big factor in this game is you can't help but give kudos to Anthony Edwards. That dude is a stone cold assassin. I mean, one tough big three after another in crucial points of the fourth quarter. I mean, like he's one of the scariest opponents in the league. I feel like he can make a shot from anywhere. Steph Curry and then some. Like, I'm not saying he's better than Steph Curry because Steph Curry isn't quite that lethal anymore because he's in kind of the twilight of his career. Anthony Edwards is like 23 or something. So that dude is terrifying and won the game for them tonight. But another big thing that went wrong for the Clippers, you cannot start the third quarter 0 for 11. Was that the fourth quarter? Yeah, that was the fourth quarter. Well, the third quarter wasn't much better. They had a 19-point lead in the first half. Not at the break, but they had a 19-point lead. Played very well in the first half. Timberwolves whittled it down 53-46 at the break. But then the Clippers come out of the locker room and give up a 21-4 run. 21-4. I mean, how does that happen? You go cold from everywhere. To me, it's just unacceptable. They went to sleep in every aspect of the game, started chasing their tails in a circle. It was just awful. If they play halfway decent through that stretch and don't go 0 for 11 to start the fourth quarter, they win this game comfortably. I mean, those kind of stretches, and then you get back into it, thanks to James Harden, who got hot. Zubac played well. But, you know, and on those threes that were in the fourth quarter from McDaniels, who hit a tough one, and Edwards, who had a couple of them in the fourth, they had hands in their faces. They were, 4 feet behind the three-point line. They were tough looks. So you can't get on the Clippers for not playing defense. They did. But in the end, 108-106. Another thing you could look at and point a finger at, missed free throws. Come on. It's a free throw. Clutch. Easy. Make those. What'd they finish on the night? 20 of 25. See, that number's not as ugly as the free throws looked because they missed crucial free throws late in the game, in the last minute of the game. Derek Jones missed one. Porter Jr. missed one. I believe it was an and one in the final seconds. I wasn't watching at that point. I was in here getting ready. But those two free throws, you make those, I mean, they battled right to the very, very end. They had the ball with 3 seconds on the clock. Porter Jr. made a 5-foot jumper, got fouled, missed the and one, probably missed it intentionally to try to get a putback. Zoo got the rebound, but missed the tip in. So it was right there. And you go back a little bit more, 10 seconds, Derek Jones missed a free throw. So if he makes that free throw, you're down 1. And then that free throw from Porter means something, tied the game. So those little details are very, very important. You can look at this game and say, yeah, they probably should have won, but they didn't get smoked. So we take away a little bit of encouragement. Encouragement, yes. For those of you who are fans of the movie Couples Therapy, or Couples Retreat, rather. Encouragement, yes. I love it when movie quotes just pop into your head randomly. But yeah, I feel like there was a lot of good in this game. Zubac really was banging with Gobert. And the referees did Zubac no favor. Got an elbow late in the game there. No call. Brian Seaman was beside himself. And then a ball that went off of Gobert's knee. Porter Jr. knocked it. Maybe it was Jones Jr., one of those juniors, knocked the ball out of Gobert's hand. It clearly went off his knee, and no review. Neither team had one, so they couldn't review it if they wanted to. But that was very unfortunate. The calls went against them. But again, I don't know that changes things much. But all in all, I look at this game and I say, yeah, that was fun. It was entertaining. It makes you feel like one got away. It was a tough loss. Timberwolves played last night, lost to Detroit. Anthony Edwards put up 53, which evidently did not wear him out in the least. Came out tonight, 37, 6 threes, 14 of 29. Man, that guy is just tough to beat. Gobert had 8 points to go with 18 boards. Jaden McDaniels, who had a clutch 3, he was 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, had 11 points and 4 of 5 from the floor. Julius Randle hasn't been much of a factor for them, trying to figure out where to fit in with this team. 23 minutes, he was 2 of 10 for just 5 points. And off the bench, Naz Reid, who's always good as well, played 31 minutes, 8 of 14, 1-3 for 18 points. But definitely a game the Clippers could have won. We'll get into the bucket list after the break, and we'll get back to the start of the game. We'll talk a little bit about where the defense looked good and why they can't keep that up for a good portion of the game. Where does it go? Why do they just fall asleep like that? This reminds me a lot of the Oklahoma City game. Played great in the first half, come out in the third and just lay an egg. What is that? Some might say it's on the coaching, and I would say it's not a bad call. Get your team ready to play. You can't just fall asleep. You went to sleep. It was 5:30 in the morning. You had rambled on for 18 pages, front and back. Not a movie quote, a friend's quote, which my daughter and I love to banter back and forth with all the time. It never really fits in, but we always seem to find a way to make that quote fit in. It's when Ross and Rachel break up and then get back together and then break up again. And Friends is a classic. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a whole lot of fun for getting action in on the games. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 to 6 players from 2 teams, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Think LeBron's going to drop 30, or maybe Luka's got more than 8 assists. Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. Now there's a lot of other things that are available to you on Prize Picks. They have specials like Tuesday discounts. I think they call it Taco Tuesday, where some of the projections are lowered. And it's very easy to get in on the action with PayPal. I love that. The deposits and withdrawals are super efficient and hassle-free. I got signed up in no time and got that little bonus. It was all very easy peasy. So check it out. Now's the perfect time to join. Download the app today and use Locked On NBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, Clippers fall to the Wolves in a tight one. Back and forth affair for sure. 108-106. The final. Kawhi played just 21 minutes, 3 of 11, 2 threes for 8 points. He was out of the game about midway through the third and nowhere to be seen again. But in the third, everything fell apart because everything slowed down. Just everything. The ball movement, the feet movement, the pressure at the perimeter. Of course, we know Minnesota's a very good defensive team, and they ratcheted up the defense in the third. So you couple that with the Clippers just kind of losing all of their energy and the T-Wolves gaining energy. It was a recipe for disaster. And I feel like there's got to be something there that the coaches can hopefully learn from. It's happened twice recently in Oklahoma City and tonight in Minnesota. Obviously, a couple of days ago against the Hawks, everything was good. They played fantastic, probably their best game of the season, but the Hawks and the T-Wolves are not the same team. The Hawks do not have an Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry. They've got some good players, and their point guard, the little dude, can shoot from all over the place. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he's no Anthony Edwards, and there are not many people in the league that can compete with Anthony Edwards in talent and skill and ability. So that's a big factor. But the fact is that the Clippers were right there. They had every opportunity to win this game and should have won this game, but they went 0 for 11 to start the fourth quarter. And it seems simple to say, yeah, you got to score more. You got to fill it up more. You got to make some baskets at crucial times. You can't, in a tight game, go 0 for 11. How do we score more when we're going 0 for 11? I don't know. Pass the ball. Stop letting James Harden go ISO the whole time. Now, that's a tough situation because he did help them get back into the game, but not by passing, by just going one-on-one, and he made a few shots. I think he had 9 in a row. So he got hot there, and that was a big part of the comeback for the Clippers. But Minnesota was getting easy layups in the lane. The Clippers were just like, ole, letting them just go right to the rim. And that's another part of something that they weren't doing in the first half. The defense started tight. They were blocking shots. Again, Zubac was 6 blocks tonight. They were running the break off of the blocks, so the defense would get a turnover and feed the break, and the Clippers were going. I mean, they just had it all ironed out. It was rolling for them in the first half. The defensive pressure against Minnesota was very, very good. And at the perimeter, in the lane, Zubac was just filling up the lane, literally and figuratively. And sometimes, or just about any time, rather, that somebody would get into the lane, Zubac was there to body him up, including Gobert. I mean, he was hanging with Gobert. And, Gobert is a tough customer in the paint, and he's tough to deal with. He's not the scorer that Zubac is, but he's a load and, a hell of a defensive player. And it didn't seem to stop Zubac. Again, he had 17 points tonight and 16 boards with 6 blocked shots. James Harden, 22 points in 37 minutes, 3 for 11 from beyond the arc. So those all came in a quick little bunch, and that needs to be better. 8 of 22, just not good enough. Norm Powell also not good enough. Led the Clippers tonight, but just not good enough. 7 of 17, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc. Had a clutch one in the fourth quarter. Now that was a layup driving to the lane. I thought it was a nice play, very aggressive, drew the foul, made the free throw, got the Clippers back to a 1-point lead, but then Anthony Edwards answered right back. So Norm Powell had a good game, could have been better in 38 minutes. Again, 7 of 17, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc for 25. Chris Dunn, just 2 points, did a nice job defensively. And all in all, when you get right down to it, another huge part of this game for the Clippers that went in their favor, turnovers. 13 turnovers for the Clippers. So that is a very nice stat. So when they're able to be clean with the ball like that and not win, it's very unfortunate. Let's get to the bucket list for tonight. For number 5, Kawhi Leonard hit a 3 at the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Big hand in his face. It wasn't his first attempt, but it was the first one he made and gave the Clippers an 8-point lead. It was 18-10 at that point. For number 4, Coffee hit a 3. It was a dunk, 9-11 of the second, driving the baseline and elevating over defenders, including Rudy Gobert, to throw it down. It made it 34-21. Brian Seaman asserted that maybe it was the best bucket of Coffee's season. Okay. It was nice. It was anytime somebody can penetrate on the baseline and elevate over defenders to dunk. It's exciting and nice to see. For number 3, Harden hit a 3 at the 5:45 mark of the third. This made it 70-63 as the Clippers are trying to crawl back into it. He hit another one right after it at the 5:20 mark to make it a 4-point game as the T-Wolves led then 70-66. For number 2, Norm Powell hit a right-handed floater from the left side of the hoop. That's what was interesting and exciting about this shot. He drove to the left of the hoop with his right hand, came back and floated it in off the glass to make it a 2-point ball game. A very clutch basket there from Norm. And for number 1, a buzzer beater 3 from Nico Batum right at the end of the third, made it a 1-point ball game. Clippers down 77-76. So that was clutch from Batum and a much needed basket. There was a handful of much needed clutch hoops late in the third and through the fourth. It's just that stretch of early in the fourth when they went 0 for 11 and early in the third when the Timberwolves came out and hammered them 21-4. Coffee had a big 3 at the 135 mark of the third. Zubac's making big baskets, getting the block shots, again, 6 in all. Another thing that was kind of frustrating through these stretches where things weren't going well for them was Harden was getting offensive fouls. Now, a couple of them, or at least one of them, you could question and say that was a bad call, but they were happening. He had 3 offensive fouls in the game. I think those were his only fouls of the night. No, he had 4. So 3 of his 4 fouls were offensive fouls, and that's not what you're looking for from your point guard. He's got to be a little bit more aware and cleaner than that. Another thing that I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel is Porter Jr.'s game, because there was a couple of times early in the fourth where he was trying to do it all himself, had a blocked shot or had a shot blocked rather. And then another turnover, and it didn't feel like he was being patient. It didn't feel like he was trying to run the offense. It felt like he was playing one-on-one ISO ball. I don't worry, I got this, guys. Get out of my way. And that's not what the Clippers needed at that point. Now, in his defense, kept playing hard, stayed in the game, stayed with it, made some important shots late in the game. So I give him credit for that. The fact that he didn't get down on himself, didn't fall out of it, and kept hanging is a nice characteristic for sure. I thought that he is a guy that I like to watch, and I was kind of surprised to see the ISO moves from him. That's not his game. He's a guy that when he's running the point, he's passing or elevating above the rim to get a pass from Harden or something of that effect. There are times when he'll penetrate, and that would have been better than what he did, where he's just like standing at the top of the key trying to shoot threes. That's just not Porter Jr.'s game. He finished the night 3 of 5, 1-3 for 7 points. Amir Coffey in his home state, 20 minutes, 3 of 9, 1 of 2, had 9 points. Derrick Jones Jr. off the bench led the way for the bench players with 10 points in 25 minutes, 3 of 5. Our Locked On Rams, Locked On Angels, Locked On Bruins host, Gavin Carlson, who works for the Clippers, chiming in with a frustrating loss for the Clips tonight. Great show as always, partner. Thank you, buddy. This was a fun game. It would have been much more entertaining and rewarding if they'd have come away with a win tonight. I felt like they did enough to win, but those 2 bad stretches there are ultimately would be their undoing. And, they got to clean that stuff up. You got to be able to, if you're going to do that, you got to do it early in the game, and that's, interestingly enough, something the Clippers used to do on a regular basis. Come out, play like crap in the first quarter, get it back on track by the second, like just build towards the end of the game. Lately, they've been playing good in the first and then falling apart in the second, except against the Hawks, which we're going to go back to that game and share some of the season high stats from that one, because it was just a fantastic game. And obviously parts of it bled into tonight. But in the end, the Clippers would lose 108-106 to the Timberwolves in Minnesota. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also download the podcast wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast brought to you by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, and the NFL playoffs are here. They start on Saturday. Chargers taking on the Houston Texans at NRG Field. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose with FanDuel. Get the FanDuel app. It gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com and join today. You can do these live bets in the middle of the game. I think this is going to be a touchdown scoring drive. I think this field goal is going to go left. I think we're going to get a turnover in this game or in this half, and those kind of things pay very well if you're able to pull one out of your backside. So get in on the live betting and all of the action that's available to you on FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Clippers fall tonight at Target to the T-Wolves, who've been struggling. So it was an opportunity to beat the T-Wolves, who are not in the best way. They were ripe for the picking tonight, and the Clippers let them off the hook. 108-106, coming off that game against the Atlanta Hawks, where they were just absolutely on fire. Points in the paint, a season high with 74 points in the paint. We talked about the dunks. They had a season high with 19 dunks. They had a season high in assists, 36, and they had 69% or 69 points from the bench. Something even remotely close to that would have been very, very helpful tonight. So what'd they get off the bench tonight? 16 and 9 is 25 and 7 is 32. So you get 69 a couple of nights ago and just 32 tonight. Granted, the Hawks defense is not the Timberwolves defense. And, they really, honestly, this one was lost in the scoring department. We like to point out that the turnovers are frequently an issue for the Clippers. Not tonight. Just 13. They had a very nice night blocking shots, 10 blocked shots, 6 of which came from Zubac. 9 steals for the Clippers. That was also very nice. You look over at the T-Wolves, they had 14 turnovers, so the Clippers won that one. Just 5 block shots, and 6 steals. So as good as their defense is, it didn't impact this game all that much. So I look at that and I say, the Clippers just flat out handed this game away. They just stopped making shots in the fourth and going 0 for 11 to start the fourth, giving easy layups to Minnesota. And, fortunately they got it back together, but it was just too little, too late. You got to keep the ball moving. There was a nice couple of plays there where they found Norm Powell in the corner. He had a big three, and guess what led to that big three? Norm Powell's waiting in the corner. Harden's at the point. He kicks it over to, I don't know who was over there at that point, but whoever it was moved it immediately to Powell in the corner. Might have been Porter. So it went from Harden to Porter to Powell, and Powell banged down the three. And you're like, that was part of a 15-2 run. And you're going, yes, give me more of that. That's what we need. Sorry, I got a little too aggressive there. My voice kind of got a little dry. So, you look at this team and you say, they are a good team. And with Kawhi Leonard, they're a much better team. They're still, I guess, trying to figure out how it's all going to fit together. I don't necessarily agree with the minutes limitation for Kawhi Leonard, but if it's going to be meaningful and impactful for the Clippers down the stretch, then I guess I'll get on board. But, he's been trying to get into shape with the San Diego Clippers for a couple of weeks now. And I guess like in baseball, AAA is not Major League Baseball. It's different. And I guess the same could be said for the NBA versus the G League. It's just different. So, the minutes at the NBA level are going to be more taxing than they are at the G League level. So I guess I get it. But in a game like this that you could have won, and it would have been nice to win for them, as they're rapidly dropping down the Western Conference standings, give Kawhi a few more minutes, when they can't score. And Kawhi can. Again, wasn't super hot tonight. He was 3 of 11, 2 of 5 from beyond the arc, but he's a clutch player. There's no question about that. And we know that he could have helped out during that 0 for 11 stretch or that 21-4 run that the Timberwolves went on to start the third. That would have all been very, very helpful to this team in this game. Again, they lose this one 108-106 and are now 20-16, 8-10 on the road, while the Timberwolves jump a game over 500, 18-17, 10-7 on their home floor at Target. Let's take a quick look at the standings. Clippers, of course, off tomorrow. Back to work on Wednesday in Denver to face the Nuggets. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I heard them say that Jokic is out. So that'll be a ripe opportunity for the Clippers to get a win in Denver, which is never easy, especially when Jokic is on the floor. Let's see if he is playing or not. I think I heard them say he's out. Why is Jokic away? For the past 3 games, Jokic has been absent from the Denver Nuggets due to what was listed as personal reasons. So he more than likely, he's been out for 3 games, although that was back in November. Maybe that's a different story and not current anymore. So I don't know. We'll leave it as a question mark. Maybe Jokic will be out, and if so, that will be good. As far as the standings go for the Clippers, currently after the loss in 7th, at 10.5 games back of the Oklahoma City Thunder. But the good news is this, and I guess after a tough loss in Minnesota to the Timberwolves, you're still only 3.5 back of second. The Rockets, who beat the Lakers yesterday, are second in the West, 7 back. Memphis also 7 back. Denver's 9.5 back. Lakers 10 back at the 5 spot. Wow. And the Mavericks are the same record as the Clippers, 20-16, 10.5 back. So much needed win that they could have gotten tonight. Will need to get on Wednesday in Denver against the Nuggets. And of course, we'll be here to break it down for you right after the game. Clippers led by Norman Powell's 25 tonight, but they lose in Minnesota at Target by a score of 106 to fall to 20-16. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the comments. Enjoy the rest of your night. We will talk again on Wednesday. Have a good one.